be obvious why we picked them, but I'll tell you a few things just to start. First, you'll discover that they're good people, first and foremost. You're going to see their incredible games on the floor, but they were picked in large part because of who they are. I think in Georgia, we found somebody that just plays with an absolutely infectious joy and creativity. Georgia is a point guard's point guard. She's always and first thinking about her teammates. I think right after she was drafted, the first thing she said was, "I can't wait to play with Kiki and Sonia," which was amazing to hear in the moment. Plays with a tremendous amount of freedom as both a shot maker and a distributor, so can't wait to have her join us. In Kiki, we've got just an absolute dynamic athlete, incredible motor for competition. And I would also say Kiki has just consistently displayed a courage to invest in herself and at times to make hard choices to make her get better. Absolutely explosive on the block, great mid-range game, still growing, and I think has proven that she can adapt to different playing styles. So really look forward to having Kiki with us. And then in Sonia, we've got somebody that will impact the game in 100 ways, and you'll see some of them, and you guys won't see some of them, and our coaching staff will see all of them all the time. I think, she has impact no matter who she's playing against. There's a versatility to her game, allows her to find a way to fill the needs that she sees, processes the game incredibly well, connects the dots, and is absolutely all about team. I think the three of them share, in just the few days that we've had together, already an incredible connectedness to one another. We've reflected a lot on sisterhood and the importance of that and their commitment to that, and we're starting to grow those seeds already. And lastly, I think they're a group whose careers just example a commitment to development. They've pushed themselves to get better. And as I said about Kiki, they've all had a tremendous courage. They just have a hunger to grow, to get better, to learn, and to do that in a way that honors team. Those characteristics, joy, freedom and creativity, a dynamic competitiveness, versatility, a connectedness, and a commitment to development, these are the characteristics that I think are emblematic of a Mystic.
I don't know if anyone in the room could see it, but as Jamila was describing each player, I could see the wheels in the point guard of Georgia's eyes moving at the same time, like, oh, okay, Kiki in the mid-range, I got you. Sonia, I'll start with you for questions for the players. Your versatility, we saw it throughout your entire career. You're not just a one type of player. When you think of the versatility, what excites you about playing for the Mystics and bringing that to the floor?
Yeah, I think that's something that I've always prided myself on, being able to play both sides of the ball and just doing whatever the team needed, which was different through my whole college career. Whatever Coach Ivy needed, I did, and I'm excited to do the same thing at the Mystics. Whatever the coach wants me to do, however I can impact the team and help the team win is what I'm going to do, and I'm really excited to do it alongside Georgia and Kiki, and also, the rest of the Mystics team, and just learn from the vets that we have. So even though I'd say I pride myself on that, I still have a lot of growing to do, and I'm excited to get better on both ends of the floor.
Kiki, in your experience and your college career, two very, very distinct playing styles. When you think of the adaptability that you have as a player in going from one to the next, and now you'll experience a different type of playing style, how do you feel that mindset allows you to set up for success with the Mystics?
Well, first, good afternoon, everyone. I'm super excited to be in DC and to be a Mystic. I think for me, it's just being able to adapt. I think being able to learn on the fly, go with the flow, whatever's happening. I want to make sure that I can present my best self. So even if things are a little bit uncomfortable, I have to figure out a way to make it work. And I feel like this season for me the mantra was being comfortable with the uncomfortable. And I feel like that's something that will translate as I come here to the Mystics. It's a whole new world, whole new landscape, whole new system that I'm not going to be used to. But I know I've done stuff in the past to help me, have a more successful transition here. But I'm just super excited to be a sponge, to learn from Coach, the staff, the vets in front of me. And I know I have so much more to learn, and I think that's the most exciting part of being here in DC.
Georgia, the pride that you take as a connector on the floor, not just as a point guard, but as a teammate, as a leader, as a friend, when you think of that mindset, where does it come from, and how do you see it translating onto the floor in this new space for you?
Yeah, if you guys can't tell by my blended accent, I am from Australia, but growing up playing with the Opals and the Sapphires, Jade included, I think just being a part of a sisterhood was so deeply rooted in who we were. The passion for each other. I've never been a part of a team where it was, you know, a one-person lead. I'm so aware that it's a connection that you all have to have. Everyone has a role and everyone brings that. So it's my job and my duty to make sure that everyone's put in those positions to succeed and do what they do and do it well. So I take pride in that, and I think with the pieces that the Mystics already have, the veterans I'm excited to learn from, but it's also my job to bring joy and connection. And that's just how I play, with a lot of pride, a lot of joy, a lot of excitement, because sometimes it's the intangibles that can make a good team great. So that's what I'm all about.
I must say,
From a personable aspect, you know, I even said it from the calls pre-draft. Like, it felt like a comfortable conversation, and it didn't feel like it was a question and answer transaction. It felt like a conversation and a discussion. And clearly that's carried through to these past 2 days. So it's definitely a value that is appreciated and wanted by the staff.
Hi, ladies. Carita Parks with Double Take Sports. Sonia, specifically for you, on draft night, Georgia, she said that you have a stone-cold mentality on the basketball court. Can you just give us a little bit more insight into your basketball mentality?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm somebody that never gets too high or too low, and I think you can see that with how I play. I kind of just always steady, and I've kind of always been like that. But yeah, I think I try to just keep myself composed no matter what's happening in the game. So even if we're up, if we're down, whatever that may be, just being composed and doing what I'm supposed to do, doing my role, whatever that is. But yeah, just staying steady. That's just how I've always played.
And then for Kiki and Georgia, just based on what you know of the roster, what excites you most about playing alongside Shakira Austin, Brittany, and just all the players that are already on the roster?
Yeah, so I actually worked out with Shakira this summer, so we were already connected, so I was super excited to be her teammate. She sent me a lovely text, and then same thing with Aaliyah. We've always kind of been connected with this UConn, USC, Stanford dynamic, so to be teammates is super exciting. And then with Slim, like, I want to say my ninth grade in high school, I had already been working out with her in LA, so there's just a lot of connection, which I really, truly feel like this was the spot for me to be. Yeah, I think I already texted Slim and I said I just can't wait to pick your brain. And her response was, can't wait to pick yours as well. So I think even just that was very cool. And Aaliyah is obviously the sweetest girl. 2019, we were both in Tampa for NBA Academy, so we kind of crossed paths there. And obviously I have a connection with Jade Melbourne. I grew up playing with her. And a lot of Americans seem to think when you're an Australian, you know every Australian. But no, Jade is someone I actually know and grew up with. So I'm very excited to just immerse myself in that situation. And I think, you know, Steph was great with us in the WNBA. She was on that board and she made a couple of jokes, so she seems very lighthearted off the court, and I'm excited to get to know them even better.
Hi, ladies. Over here, Jade Lawson with 7 News. First of all, congratulations. We're excited to have you in D.C. We spoke to Jamila on Monday night, asking her just her thoughts on the draft, and she mentioned that this was an investment in the future, an investment in the players. So what does that investment mean as you guys kind of take this big three into this next chapter with this new coaching era and new era of the Mystics?
I mean, I think we've been talking about it, and it's a huge opportunity, but it also comes with a lot of responsibility. I think we want to make sure our culture is right. We want to make sure we're doing what we're supposed to do, but I think it starts with the vets that we already have on the Mystics, and from what I've heard, they're amazing people, and we're coming into a great culture, so it's just making sure we maintain that and try to help grow it in whatever ways that we can.
I think Coach also said that iron sharpens iron, so having that establishment already, but coming in and making sure that we're competing and showing up every day and working our tails off every day, that can only put you up incrementally, literally day by day. Yeah, I think they pretty much said it, but I think it's just such an honor that our coaches and the front office believe in us to be able to help them achieve the goal that they have in mind. But then as Sonia said, like, we know it's a great honor opportunity, but it comes with so many challenges. But us three up here, we are more than capable of rising to that occasion.
Welcome all to Washington, D.C. I'm Chad Ricardo, Fox 5 D.C. Jamila, this question is for you. During your introductory press conference, you talked about the importance of not only building the right culture here within the Mystics, but also how this organization connects with the people of the DMV. How do you hope that this crop of draft picks makes that connection and spread your brand to the people of Washington, D.C. and beyond?
Yeah, great question. I think the lucky thing with these guys is that we have an example for how they've done that in the spaces that they've been in already. If you look at the schools that they played at, and you look at the fan base that followed them through the NCAA tournament, they already have a reach that's incredibly expansive. And I think what we want for the Mystics is to both have that expansive reach, but also to touch, I think, the incredible deep roots of this community. And so I think what we hope as we learn each other better is that DC creates this amazing opportunity, I think, probably for each of them to find the different communities that they naturally connect to. And there's such diversity here that I think it's a unique opportunity in DC that maybe isn't necessarily true in every other place. And so we want to invite folks out to the games. I think when you come, you will see an incredibly dynamic and competitive game. And I think the great thing about these players is who they are, their personalities, is evident in their game. And I think that kind of infectious and I think that joy is going to be really fun to watch. And what our outreach will look like will in many ways be driven by them and the spaces that they want to touch. And so our job is to figure out what those places are and to support that.
Thank you all for being here this afternoon to Monumental Basketball leadership, to ownership as well too. We're going to have you all come up and take a photo with the players. For the media in the room, if you've arranged a one-on-one, once the photo's been taken, a comms person will find you and get that all settled. Everyone else, you're more than welcome to join us on the terrace as well. Sonia, Kiki, Georgia, welcome to DC.
Thank you.
Claps abound, the words have been spoken, the questions have been asked, but most importantly, the smiles have been seen from your 2025 first-round draft picks of your Washington Mystics down at District Winery, along with the front office, and of course, GM Jamila Weidman taking the podium with him as well. Excited for the future, the investment, as it was called, by many people on site, and we're excited to get it undertaken. Again, Christy Winter-Scott, myself, Wes Hall, here on the back end of this. Christy, a lot of notes, got a lot of notes, copious note-taking over here. I just want your overall recap of their sentiment in general. Then we'll get into the players quickly.
Well, I love what Jamila Weidman said about the personalities of each of the players shining through their skill sets on the court, and she couldn't be more correct in seeing them on the collegiate level. And even before that, I've seen who they are as people, and it does shine through with how they operate competitively. And so I think it's going to be so exciting for the fans to come down and see the blend and the diversity of those personalities come together in a unified force on the court in the WNBA this year.
All right, so let's start off with the first play. Let's go with Sonia Citron, number 3 overall pick, but Mystics fan. She's going to be wearing number 22 in a Mystics jersey. Your thoughts about what stood out from what she had to share today?
Well, I love Sonia Citron's game, right? She is a player that doesn't need the basketball to impact the game. She is a staunch defender. She is going to get after it on the glass. She's 6'1", so she can play in a versatile way on both sides of the court. She's a versatile mismatch, if you will. She's long and lanky. She's disruptive. But for me, she doesn't need 15 or 20 shots to be impactful on the offensive side. She is very efficient and effective. And you heard what she said, I never get too high or get too low. And that is a moniker from Neil Ivey, her head coach at Notre Dame. That's what she lived by. And that's why she was able to have that steadying mentality for her entire career with the Irish.
I love the stoicism. I love that. She
That's
said
her.
she never gets too high, never gets too low.
That's
Something
Neil
you can always
Ivey, man.
appreciate it. Hey, shout out to the Fighting Irish at Notre Dame. But let's move on to Kiki. Number 4 overall pick out of USC, by the way, for those in SoCal. Yeah, Harvard Westlake grad. Great alumnus over there.
Yeah.
Wearing number 44 for the Mystics. Your thoughts on what she brings to the table?
Well, I love Kiki Iriafen. She has been magnificent, not just at USC, but also prior to that at Stanford. She was magnificent in terms of her effectiveness and her ability to score.
What up, y'all? This your boy Ace here, and welcome to Afternoons Delight. Let's get into this one, you guys. And if you've been on my channel, man, you know I've been praising the Washington Mystics draft, and a lot of other people have too. So when I looked at the draft, man, I was already saying on Monday night I think they had the best draft. I was surprised that everyone else really agreed. You know, other YouTube channels, other fans of the WNBA, old heads like CFWB guy was even saying the same thing, that they had the best draft. And the thing that you got to understand with the Washington Mystics is they already had a decent roster coming into the draft. Like, one of the things about Washington was they was starting to play a lot better towards the end of the season. I'll never forget when the Indiana Fever ran into them in the last game of the season. And you could just tell, like, the Mystics were finding themselves. Now, they did lose a few players, you know, like Julie Van Loo to the expansion draft, and Katie Lou Samuelson's sister, Carly Samuelson. So they have lost a few players, but they still got some veterans who we know can play. Shakira Austin being one of the more notable players on their team. They got the sophomore now, the outstanding rookie, Aaliyah Edwards, who I think had a fine rookie season for him. Obviously, they're still trying to round out the draft around her. Got the old head, the veteran, Steph Dolson, you know, Brittany Sykes on the team, Sugg Sutton, who played with Grace Berger, Sika Kone, and then also one of my favorites, Emily Anxler, who I personally wanted the Fever to kind of trade for. I think out of a lot of the moves that they made, I'm like, why didn't you go try to get Emily Anxler back? You know, Emily Anxler was drafted by the Fever. Why didn't you go try to get Emily Anxler back? You know, you added all these old heads. You could have added someone a little younger who I think could have really helped this team out. And also Jay Melbourne, one of my favorite players, you know, from Australia. So it's a very talented roster. Just the vets alone, it's a very talented roster. And the question for the Mystics before the draft is, with them having a lot of picks, could they sustain a draft to put these rookies with these veterans and make a push for the playoffs? So let's look at what they did in the draft. So they had the number 3 pick. Remember, they traded and made a really good move. You know what I'm saying? Really, really good move before the draft even started. So I think this is like a couple of months back. It was like a couple of months ago. Maybe back in February, I believe, they traded the number 3. Chicago Sky traded their number 3 pick for former Mystics player Ariel Atkins. And Ariel Atkins is a really good defender. She gets you about 15 a game. Very solid player, very solid veteran player. So the Sky made that move, and I remember I was puzzled by it too. I've been praising the Chicago Sky draft personally. I do think they made up for trading that pick. I don't know if she will ever make up. I don't know if Atkins will ever make up for them trading that pick. But I still think it was a good move for both teams. And obviously for Washington, they benefited the most from it. So it just came down to how badly if Chicago wanted Sonia Citron or not. Well, Washington did, and that's who they got. And it was pretty predictable because Sonia Citron, a lot of mock drafts, was either going to Seattle at number 2, Washington at number 3 or 4, or Golden State at number 5. Like, we just knew Sonia Citron was going to get picked somewhere between 2 and 5 towards the end of the tournament, the college tournament. So they got Sonia Citron, my girl, 3-and-D player. So that move alone, you make a move like that alone, bro, you're already setting up your future really well, right? Then the next one. I love this pick for Washington, Kiki Iriafen. Now, Kiki Iriafen, as I said in one of my videos, she struggled a little bit in her last season in college at USC. Y'all know her for playing with Juju last season. I do believe that her biggest problem is just being consistent. She's always had this inconsistency issues, but I do believe in the right system and the right coach. I think this is going to be the right fit for her. She's going to be asked to probably replace Shakira Austin in the future. I don't know if Shakira Austin will come back next season. So she's going to be someone that's going to be asked to hit up that front line with Aaliyah Edwards. I think Steph Dosa being on this team too will definitely help Kiki, become a better pro. Maybe teach her the ropes. And Shakira still being here will also help her. So I think it's a good fit for Kiki. It's probably one of the best fits in the league because she doesn't have to be this franchise-changing power forward with really no help around her. She can actually grow into a team with some other rookies. I like the fit for Kiki. Then the pick that I really like for the Mystics, number 6, they got the box office, the funnest player probably in this entire draft to watch, Georgia Amoore. The short little 5'6" guard out of Kentucky. Georgia Amoore, man, is box office. This is like one of the most exciting players to watch in the draft. To get her to be the point guard of the future is great. See, that's when I knew Washington was serious. When they got Georgia Amoore behind Citron and Iriafen, I knew they were serious about making a run here. And I think that's when a lot of people was like, damn, they killed it in the draft. They killed it. They got Georgia Amoore, very, very, very talented player, could score her ass off. Fine passer as well. Play a little defense for us. She's just like Haley Van Lith. Even though they're kind of small, they know how to be physical with their defense. So they're not like a cone. Even for a size, I know it's going to be a little bit different in the WNBA because there are a lot of like big guards and stuff like that she's going to have to contend with. But I seen her play big guards all throughout the SEC this season. I thought she held up pretty well. Man. So I think I like that pick so much for Washington. Then this is the one where I was like, this solidified Washington having the best draft. The number 23 pick, Lucy Olsen. I was shocked that they got Lucy. I was shocked with this move. Love it to death. Now you got somebody who could score on all 3 levels, someone that improved their 3-point percentage last season from like, Lucy Olsen went from like 29% from 3 to like 36% from 3. She got the mid-range. She could create her own shot. Very fine passer. One of the things she proved at Iowa last season is that she could pass. We already saw it at Nova, but the problem with Nova was it wasn't a really good team around her. This year, at Iowa, she had help, so she was able to facilitate and pass a little more in Jan Jansen's system. And she was also able to focus on defense. Being in the backcourt with Kylie Feuerbach was great. I hope Kylie Feuerbach coming back to Iowa, I hope that gives her a chance to be in the W next season as well in 2026, whether she's drafted or not. That girl should definitely turn pro with just her defensive skills alone. It reminds me of like Maddie Westfield, just with her defensive skills alone to be in the league. I think that's a fine pick for Washington because you can put her in Amoore in that backcourt. You're going to get, scoring wise, you're probably going to get yourself a good 40, 60 points a game, somewhere right around 50 points per game between those two alone. They're both able to average at some point in their career anywhere between 15, 20 points. That's a major pickup for them. And then Zaay Green. A lot of people forget about Zaay Green from Alabama. That girl, man, she could give you the shake and shimmy. I don't know if she will make the team. This is my only problem with Zaay. but that's a fine pick as well. Lucy might have to compete with her for that last spot on the team as well, but that's another solid pick. Like, if they did not pick Lucy Olsen, I think Zaay Green would have been absolutely spectacular for them. They killed it with their draft, man. Sidney Johnson, first-year head coach. For those of y'all that know he comes from, mainly came from Princeton. That wasn't his last stop, but he mainly came from Princeton. I think Sidney Johnson's got a lot to work with here. He's got some fine veterans, and he's got an outstanding rookie class. One of the things that I like about the team makeup right now is that he doesn't have to really rush a lot of these rookies in. I do believe the one player that may start is Sonia. I think because of her defensive skills, he may ride with her in the starting lineup. But if they all come off the bench to start out, I don't even think that's a bad decision because he's got some really good veterans right now. And that's the thing that I like. He could definitely preserve the rookies and just develop them behind the scenes. Like, I don't think he's got to start Georgia Amoore day one. He doesn't have to start Lucy Olsen day one. Doesn't have to start Kiki Iriafen day one. I think he can roll out. He could probably have Steph Dolson starting at center, Aaliyah Edwards power forward, Shakira Austin. It'll probably be Shakira Austin over Steph Dolson at center. Then at wing, this is where maybe Sonia starts because I think it's going to be Emily Anxler at that wing position. He'll probably run Brittany Sykes. She's the oldest player on the team outside of Steph Dolson. He might run Brittany Sykes at the 2 guard. We'll see if Sugg Sutton starts. I think Jay Belburn was starting a lot of games too last year for Washington, so he may go there. So it's a lot of options. Like this team right now, that's what I like about Washington's makeup is that they can really take their time getting the rookies on the floor. They don't have to rush them out. And I think that's going to help the rookies to just, sort of sit back, come off the bench, provide energy, earn their way into the starting lineup. I think it's going to be a great situation, man. And I think all of these rookies, except for maybe Zaay Green, I think it's the right situation for him. Like Lucy Olsen especially, because there were certain teams, including Indiana, even though I desperately wanted her in Indiana, but there were teams that it was going to be iffy for someone like Lucy Olsen to start. So this is the perfect situation for Lucy Olsen to make sure she makes a training camp roster, and is able to start the season with Washington. Don't got to worry about being a free agent and potentially having to play overseas just to play. Like, she don't got to worry about that. She will be on the roster. So it's going to be exciting. And their first game of the season, we'll see them right away against Indiana in the preseason. May the 3rd, Saturday, May the 3rd. On the play of Indiana. So you're going to be able to see what these rookies can do right away. I'm excited. Washington's going to be a must-see team, man. They got a beauty team as well. Let's get into that. Because I've been telling y'all, one of the most important things going forward with women's basketball is not just your play on the court. It's going to be what you deliver off the court. Because we've seen players starting last season in the W. I've never seen players promoted as much as they've been promoted last year. And I'm not talking about the State Farm commercials. I'm talking about just recently, I'm seeing Kelsey Plum in these Megan 2.0 commercials with ESPN. Like, that's crazy stuff, man. You would have never saw that like 2 or 3 years ago. You would have never saw that 2 or 3 years ago before Caitlin and Reese came into the league. You're seeing girls being promoted. The beauty aspect is being taken seriously because another thing, too, a lot of these girls coming into the league now, they're not coming in as lesbians. I think that lesbian percentage has really gone down. I would like to see where it's at because I think at one point it was like 95% of the league was lesbians. That thing got to be if I had to guess, it's down to about under 80% now. It's got to be under 80% now. Because there's too many heterosexual girls that have been in these last couple of drafts. Just in the last couple of drafts alone, it's a lot of heterosexual girls. So the beauty aspect is huge right now, man. It's huge right now in the WNBA. Sonia Citron, fine as hell, man. Fine as hell. And we know, based on the draft, because I didn't even know until the draft that she had a boyfriend. And that confirms that she's not gay. So that's crazy. Kiki Iriafen, very beautiful girl, man. Well, I think she could give Rakia Jackson full money as one of the most beautiful black girls in the league. You know what I mean? Kiki Iriafen definitely got the looks. Georgia Amoore, we all know how good she be looking, man. Australians always look good, so it's not a surprise. It's not a surprise at all, man. Got Jay Milburn on the team right next to us. So I think, and that's another thing I like about that move too. Having Jay Milburn already on the team, that's good for Georgia Amoore, you know. To have those kind of, like, it's always good for rookies to have that kind of veteran on the team that they can look after. Like Grace Berger had Christy Wallace. You know what I'm saying? So that's always good, you know, and Caitlin Clark had Lexi Hall. So that's always good to have, like, a veteran who a rookie could kind of, you know, mold after, you know. And they got Lucy Olsen. Lucy Olsen, a very cute blonde, bro. And she started to make her name, you know, during the second half of the season, man. So this is a beauty team, man. This is a beauty team right now, man. Washington definitely will be must-see TV this year. You know, because Washington was one of them teams, so like they're having to replace 11. I'm surprised I went through this. How long has this video been so far? And I haven't even brought up the name Elena Deladon, one of my original favorite players in the league. Damn, we're over 15 minutes. I haven't brought up Elena Deladon yet. Shame on me. Elena Deladon retires, so that's the player that they're. You know, Washington struggled last year because she didn't play. And that's a huge cog to their team. But the good thing is that with someone like that, with someone like Elena Deladon, that's fantastic for them. That's fantastic that they're able to reshape their team without her. And so this Washington team, which came off a championship, what was that? I think it was 2021 when they won the championship. I want to say, because Lena Deladon won with him. I think it was 2021 when they won the title. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think it was 2021. Or was it 2019? Because I forget, because it was like, you know, we had the pandemic. So I think it was before the pandemic. I think it was 2019. And I remember they made the finals like back-to-back seasons. Yeah, I think it was 2019. I think it was 2019 when they won, not 2021. I think it was 2019. So since then, they've been kind of on a decline, like losing seasons and stuff like that. Just a totally irrelevant team, man. Totally irrelevant team. So that last good season, I think, was like 2022 and stuff like that. I think it was 2022. But they've been this team that it's just kind of, you know, like I said, just kind of irrelevant. But now, man, oh man, oh man, I think a lot of people are starting to make predictions that they can sneak into the playoffs. They can sneak into the playoffs. I think if somehow, some way, they can find a way to get Zaay Green on this team, man. Man, I think that'd be huge for him. But this team, bro, they got a chance, bro. They got a real chance because you got just a top-notch defensive player in Sonia Citron on the team that's going to play that defense, bro. 3-and-D player could knock down some threes for you. Georgia Amoore is one of the most energetic players you'll ever watch. You know what I'm saying? She's always going to hustle, man. And then Lucy is just smart as hell. So whenever she gets into the lineup, into the rotation, it's curtains, man. It's curtains. It's curtains, man. It really is. If Kylie Feuerbach turns pro and is able to get into the W, this would be a good fit for her next season. This would be a good fit coming off the bench. This would be a good fit for her. This would be a good fit for her, man. Because I just started thinking about some teams that she could be on. I think this would be a good fit for her. This would be a good fit. Imagine her and Sonia Citron out there playing defense, bro. And then look, if you think about it, Lucy Olsen and Sonia Citron playing defense together, that's crazy work. Crazy work. And the other thing, I expect Aaliyah Edwards to take another step this year and become a double-double queen. She needs to take another step and start averaging a double-double. That's one thing I'm looking for her next season. That's going to be interesting because that's probably going to determine like what they're going to do with Shakira Austin in the future. Are they going to keep her and re-sign her, or do they feel the need? Okay, we could rival Aaliyah Edwards at center. Kiki Iriafen moves up to power forward at the 4, and we'll rock with that. Because they got to be careful about whatever they do, man. So we'll see what it's going to be a huge season to me for Aaliyah Edwards, man, to take that next step. So, but this team, man, they're marketable. They're very marketable right now. They're going to be a fun team to watch, man. The WNBA right now is in such a good place, man. And I agree with somebody, CWFB guy. If you get a chance to, I hope I'm able to release this video by maybe Monday. If his video is still up, he talks about the Washington Mystics, and then he talks about this being the most talented. I forgot who said it. Was it Lexi Brown who said it? Lexi Brown had a podcast recently, and she was saying that a lot of people have been saying this, like especially old heads in the like old head fans. The WNBA has never been more talented than it is right now. This is why I disagree with people about expansion, because there's talent in women's basketball all over the place. The problem has always been there's not enough teams in the W, so a lot of these girls don't make the rosters. And I think that with more teams, it's going to help that out. We're going to get to 20 teams eventually anyway, so it don't even really matter what the naysayers say about the expanding teams. Because, like I said, this draft was overly, like, sneaky talented. Some people call it a role player draft, but I don't see it as a role player draft. I think you got a lot of players that could become cornerstones of their franchises. It's that type of draft to me. It's a sneaky good draft. It was a sneaky good draft. There was talent all over the place. The WNBA, all 13 teams, I think for the first time in history, every single team is talented enough to make the playoffs. It's just a matter of who's going to make the playoffs. Even Golden State, for an expansion team, got a shot at making the playoffs. I'm not saying these teams are going to make the playoffs. What I'm saying is, because of how talented the league is, you can't take no nights off. You can't take no nights off. This is why I said Washington's got a shot. They got a shot. They got a shot. It just depends on the rotations and all that other stuff. Just like I was talking about with Tyler Marsh in Chicago, how the bigs are used. They got to feed Camila Cardozo more. Stuff like that is going to be key. It's not going to be easy for Indiana. Like, Indiana's got a talented roster, but I've been saying this. It ain't going to be easy. I thought it was easier for Indiana last season. But, like, the Liberty, Lynx, teams like that, they're trying to get back to the finals. Obviously, the Aces. I think the Aces got a little better. But I still think Plum, losing Kelsey Plum is going to hurt them a little bit. But they do get Elizabeth Keatley in there. Elizabeth Keatley, I can't wait to see her play. Can't wait to see her play. Because we got robbed of not seeing her because of her injury last year, so we get a chance to see her. Cam Brink is coming back for LA in like June or July. It's gonna be crazy, man. This is gonna be a crazy season, man. And I can't wait, man. But we're gonna profile. We're gonna keep up with Washington all season. Gonna keep up with like Sonia Citron individually, Georgia Amoore, and obviously Lucy Olsen. I'm going to be talking about them scattered throughout the season. I'll be profiling to see how they're doing, updating you on how they're doing as far as things go, and we'll always be bringing the lust aspect into this thing too. But yeah, man, Washington's one of those teams, bro. They're one of those teams, bro. Keep an eye on the Mystics, man. We're going to definitely be covering the Mystics this season. I'm going to talk about the Mystics right away after they face Indiana that weekend. The same weekend they face Indiana. So be on the lookout for that video too. That'll probably be the next time we talk about Washington on this channel. So I'll see y'all in 2 weeks. But going ahead and get this video a like, share, subscribe. Thank y'all for watching. Aces Angels, man.